Welcome back to the Before Pass and Go podcast with your host, Michael Malfa at Boardwalk Insurance. I'm joined by my co-founder, Andrew Nguyen.
Hi, everyone.
Today's a bit of a unique episode. I don't know if you want to talk about it.
Well, you tell me what are you talking
why is it unique? This is our first podcast at the new office.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, but we're definitely going to talk about this because explain to me the journey, guys. This is a very big and profound step for Boardwalk Insurance. So number one, why did you make this step forward? Where's the growth coming from? How do you feel about the move? And so on and so forth.
Andrew, since you're our host today, I'm going to give you some space and some time to speak because I've been doing a lot of talking.
Yeah.
And I think the guests want to hear from this intelligent-looking individual here, those sharp glasses.
So thanks, Mike, for the introduction. I'll do the
Not just
talking.
intelligent-looking, actually intelligent.
So definitely a move for us. Part of the reason why we wanted to move here is because we wanted the ground level exposure. We wanted easier access for our clients. We wanted people to see and notice Boardwalk, right? And I think we've definitely done that with the some of the renovations and things that we've done here, which took quite a while. Actually, it took a little bit over a month for us to get here. And I think it's just an exciting milestone for us because this really truly feels like home. Because it's our own space. We set up the layout to kind of match our taste, and we really get to make certain changes to help with our growth over the next 4 or 5 years.
Mm-hmm. And just so everyone who's listening, we're located on Silton Road in Vaughan. It's the major intersections, Highway 7 and Western Road. This is center ice of Vaughan, very central. Vaughan is growing their metropolitan community. We're the VMCC is just down the road from us. It's literally 2 minutes away. So we have subway access, we have high rise, we have a plethora of restaurant choices. And as Andrew alluded to, we're very close to a lot of our commercial clients. So It's been a great move.
And because of this this very pivotal move in Boardwalk Insurance, how does this, like you said that we want this to be our space that we grow in the next 5 years. Where do you see Boardwalk stepping into in the next 5 years?
Yeah, I think over the next 5 years, there's definitely going to be a lot of growth. We're seeing a lot of tractions in terms of referrals, clients that knows about us, and clients that have really supported us for the past 5 years. So I think it's really some of the efforts and work that we put in are just now being brought to light. And people are starting to notice who we are and what we do here. And some of the things we actively work on, such as the technologies, being more known to the industry and our clients because they see that in the service level and service standards that our brokers can provide to them.
I think we want to add to that. I think the brand building has also been a really pivotal part of where we've come and where we're going. Mm-hmm. Boardwalk's becoming more recognized. We've revamped our website. Our website has much more information, much more reach than it had previously. We've grown our client base. We're doing a lot of social media content. We're doing the podcast. Mm-hmm. We're going to events. We're networking. We're very involved in the community as we continue to just push this Boardwalk brand. And beyond building the brand is delivering on the promise. Mm-hmm. We got to put our money where our mouth is.
Mm-hmm. Now, for everyone that knows, and I'm pretty sure they know by now, we are very centrally driven with technology and AI. That is something that not only have you, Andrew, primarily adopted, but you feel like this is part of the forefront of where Boardwalk needs to go. Mm-hmm. So because of the AI discussion, and before we get into our notes of this episode, I still need to ask you, why do you choose to be with AI and not against AI?
Because, think of this as a massive change that's coming, right? It's a massive wave that is changing, just like the internet, right? You don't want to go against the tides, right? Like you want to go with it in this scenario. AI is proven to really improve workflows. AI is really proven to embed itself into everybody's lives. So, to resist this change and go against AI is kind of setting ourselves up to be traditional, in the sense that we're going to fall behind. And in the age of AI, I always ask myself this question: do I still want to have use pen and paper and fill out an application, or you really utilize it to its potential and have it assist me in becoming more efficient? So I think it's wrong to resist this change, because I think it's coming, and I think we're at this early stage of innovation for AI, and it's a hockey stick curve that we're experiencing, and I think at some point it's going to move a lot faster, and it's going to go vertical, and I think the pace of innovation is going to move significantly fast.
And because of that point, now we're going to get into something very interesting. And Mike, I want you to touch on it. Canada as a whole is actually far behind on AI technology with the rest of the world. And excluding Boardwalk from this picture, let me ask you something, Mike. Why is Canadians and Canada in general, insurance companies, still so behind on technology? They still have not adopted to it.
Yeah, the adoption, Stefano, great point. The adoption isn't there. I think it's a mentality thing. A lot of it is mentality. There's obviously several factors at play, but one is just, Canadians are very conservative in adopting new technology, taking risk, making big change. I'm not saying all Canadians. Like, obviously, there's exceptions to the rules. There's an exception to the rule, but a lot of Canadians, a strong majority of them, just, they don't want to disrupt things. And AI and technology is completely disrupting everything. It's changing the game. So, it's a lot for Canadians to fathom that, hey, you know what, I got to completely reinvent my business. But in other countries, Asia, the US, they're at the forefront of it. They're pushing the boundaries. You have Silicon Valley that's just pushing the boundaries of technology and development, and just trying to find ways to completely flip the tables.
Mm-hmm. Let's piggyback on that, Andrew. Where AI actually helps brokers today, where do you think, in the grand scheme of things, where will AI, not only with Boardwalk Insurance, but in general, help on certain sectors?
In particular to the insurance industry?
Correct. Yeah. Like primarily in what you do, and why the innovation here is far above all other Canadian insurance companies.
Well, I can't speak for the insurance companies, but in terms of the distribution side,
yes,
it's really helped us streamline our processes. So I think, with the, I guess, the adoption of AI, where it gets interesting is that I think the further along we go, it will start to expose those brokerages with weak workflows and weak processes, right? Because the brokerages that have strong processes and strong workflows will be able to adopt AI at a much faster pace. So I think that's essentially what's happening, right? So does that somewhat answer your question?
It does, because so where I feel like it's interesting with this kind of topic is submission intakes and policy comparisons, quotations, even renewal and reviewal summaries. Mm-hmm. Like AI will not only step above it, but it'll give you far more advancements into working things out.
Yeah. So think of, I guess a lot of the time in our business, in the broker world, is that we throw people at the problem, right? Like, yes, if we have if we need a review of a renewal or whatever, we would definitely send that over to a team of individuals that will do the renewal review for us as a producer, or they would generate a certificate, or they would do the data entry for us. So as an account executive, producer, you would have this team supporting you. But the beauty of this is now, what we've done at Boardwalk is that really giving this access to not only senior producers where they're generating millions of dollars, we're giving this to anybody, any producers that's joining Boardwalk. So we're giving them a team to work with. And I think that's truly unique in this industry, because now they can really focus on what, their role is supposed to do: build relationship with clients, understand their business, and act as a consultant for their business, right? And that's what we want to do here. We don't want to spend time burdening them with administrative tasks, where that's something that AI can do now, right? So yeah.
Where should AI not replace humans?
Yeah, absolutely. I think like Andrew mentioned, you can throw humans at problems. You can also throw AI at problems, and you can amplify those problems if you don't do it correctly. You have to have that, like Andrew mentioned, those streamlined and really tight processes and workflows. You have to make sure that that makes sense before you deploy a person at it or AI at it. And then, you can really get an ideal outcome, because now that AI can amplify that positive workflow. But where you don't want AI replacing a human is on that customer interaction and the relationship. AI is great at streamlining a lot of these processes. We give that level of, we give the support to our brokers with the technology. It enables them to give the customers a higher level of service. But at the end of the day, that connection between the broker and the customer is still there. You see the customer wants to deal with a person. So you still need the human, kind of fronting the relationship, especially mid-market and enterprise, fronting the relationship and building and nurturing that relationship and understanding the individual, because everyone wants to be understood. They want to make sure that they're understood and their needs are being looked after.
Yeah.
So AI doesn't replace that.
I'll add something to that as well. I think where AI shouldn't replace humans is that, because we operate as brokers in a very regulated environment, right? We're regulated by, a few regulatory bodies. So, to have AI completely autonomous is very dangerous, right? When it confirms coverages, that's very dangerous, because, is AI's words against yours, right? Like, if you're making any kind of confirmation, how can you trust AI is confirming the right coverage? So things like that will create a lot of problems for brokerages. And the other thing is, it's not, the problem is not AI. The problem is people not reviewing the AI's work, because AI can hallucinate, right? So I always use this analogy, Mike. I love using this analogy with Tesla and the FSD. We're not at this point where we're fully comfortable with just hands off the wheel, watching a movie while this car is taking us to the destination. We still need to have our hands on the wheel, eyes on the road until we get there. So the broker's role will always be there, in my opinion. I don't think AI is ever going to replace a broker, because you still need that second set of eyes on the work.
Wow, here's one thing that I find very interesting. We can all talk about AI every day of the week, 24/7, Saturday, Sunday, but as soon as someone starts saying, the dangers of it, you instantly open your eyes a little bit wider. Because, see, as much as you've adopted AI, you're still very cautious that there are some implementations that we need to be very careful with. Because if someone, we always have to review. So basically, your goal is to make AI very relevant in Boardwalk, but you always have to have your eyes wide open.
Exactly. And part of the reason is because we don't know how AI function. I mean, it's non-deterministic, right? And that's part of the reason why we cannot be 100% sure that the results will be the same every single time. Just like even if you use like ChatGPT or whatever, one time you ask it a question, it can answer differently the next time, right? It's just the nature of AI, and until we figure how to make it deterministic, it's going to be like that, right?
And I have one final question for this episode, and I got to get this right because it's detail oriented, and I think that both of you guys can contribute to this. The future of insurance distribution in Canada, the winning brokerage will not be the one with the most staff. It will be the one with the best workflow, cleanest data, strongest advice model, and fastest response times. Now, this is all outside of the element of AI. But with AI, you can take this and accelerate it. Now, the future of insurance distribution in Canada, where do you both see it going?
There's a lot of disruption happening in distribution, especially with the direct channel. I think we're going to be talking about that in our future podcast about digital distribution and versus broker distribution versus direct distribution, insurers distributing their product direct. Where that it's heading in the future, I think it's going to become a very niche. It's going to break down between niches in terms of what does the consumer look like and where do they go? You know, if it's very vanilla type of insurance policy, like a auto insurance or a homeowner's, you know, that's probably going to go direct. You know, direct. There may be the benefits of having a broker don't justify themselves, but if it's a more advanced or nuanced business with more moving parts, I don't think the broker is going anywhere. It's going to be the broker channel that's going to serve that customer best. But Andrew, maybe you could talk about what that broker channel is going to look like in the future to be fully optimized to serve that mid-market, nuanced commercial client.
So, you know, what's interesting is that I think every brokerages, insurance distribution channels are trying to figure out, how am I going to implement AI and what's this future going to look like for our business, right? And recently, Hub introduced, you know, Claude into their whole entire company. So what they did was they said, you know, we're going to provide Claude access to everybody at the brokerages. But, you know, my question to that is that how, you know, not many people know how to really optimize the usage of AI and how can I extract the most value out of it and the most accurate value out of it, right? So, you know, to give everybody access to AI is great, but how are they going to use it? That's the important question. So, how distribution is, I think, in the future is going to look like is, like I said, you know, the ones with the best processes, the one with the best workflow will essentially be able to adopt AI. And there's a lot of talk in Silicon Valley about, you know, I guess this one person unicorn, right? Where they can handle everything. They can handle everything from accounting to admin to sales, everything. And that's really the goal is now in business. And I think, you know, people starting brokerages, becoming brokers, there's no more interesting time than right now, because AI is changing the game, it's leveling the playing field. So, you know, a brokerage like Boardwalk, who, you know, we have about, I think 16 staff right now, we can operate like a team of 30 because of, you know, the assistance of AI and how intelligent, you know, the intelligent way we're applying AI into our processes. So I think the future is going to be, you know, smaller brokerages are going to appear like they're, you know, like they have a much larger team. There are more touch points. They can provide that service that I think a lot of larger brokerages are providing right now, and that's going to be very interesting. So, like I said, you know, entrepreneurs, you know, brokers, you know, broker owners, you know, it's a very interesting time, and you have to evolve. I think the distribution channels is really going to go through a big change in the next 5 years.
Wow. And that was next level goosebumps. But now there's one thing left to do on this episode, because we have to leave it always on a high note, is where they could find you two gentlemen.
To get in touch with Andrew or I, you can reach us on the website at myboardwalk.ca or our Instagram handle and LinkedIn handle, which is Boardwalk Insurance. Until next time, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you on the next one.